Hello, thanks for watching DIY Geeks tutorial video. We are using Raspberry Pi today to teach you how to make a NAS drive. Um, you can save a lot of money with using this as a NAS drive because then you don't have to turn on your computer all the time to get access of your files at home. Um, if you want to make your box, your Raspberry Pi into a BitTorrent box, we have in other videos, and we're gonna have a link at the corner to let you convert it to the BitTorrent box, because part of the BitTorrent box tutorial is gonna have this NAS drive tutorial. So if you want to do both of them, you can actually watch that video. At the other side of the corner, we're also going to have another link if you want to do it like how I did it over the Windows remotely. We're also going to have another video to teach you how to make it to control the Raspberry Pi remotely with your computer. I'm not sure, have you watched the videos that we had before? We are actually for beginners, for people who doesn't have much knowledge of Linux or Raspberry Pi or programming. Because myself, I don't have any knowledge of Linux before actually I bought the Raspberry Pi, and then I just watch over videos online or tutorials of the tech space online, and I study myself. I try with hours and hours of time of tryings, and then I actually got it to work, and then I want to share it with you. First thing, we're going to use it to get the list of disk sudo fdisk-l. This actually is going to show you how many drives that you have connected to your Raspberry Pi. As you can see, I have one SDA1 right here with 32 gigs SD drives, SD thumb drive. You can actually use it with external hard drive if you want, or but make sure you have a power hub connects to it. I'm just gonna do it with the tutorial, is easier to show, so that's why I'm using a 32 gigs this time. But make sure, yeah, like what I said, if your external drive doesn't have a power supply, make sure you have a powered USB hubs that connects with it. Otherwise, as my experience, it would not run. It will fail, or if you have a lot of different files loading at the same time, it will not be capable to handle it. Like what I said, if you see SDA1 right here, if you're not sure what it is, it's just like how you plug in your drive into Windows. It's like the Windows show up like X drive, F drives, or A drives. On the Raspberry Pi or on Linux, when you connect to a drives to it, it's gonna assign like SDA1, SDB1, and then if you have more than one partition in the drive, it's gonna be like SDA2 or 3. But this one is gonna show SDA1, and the way that we're gonna teach you later on, it's gonna use the UUID instead of the SDA1 part. Why we're going to do the SDA1 as you show, we're going to use it to lock the drive, assigned drive that you're going to share over the network. And then so they know which drive you're going to show is actually which one on your Raspberry Pi if you have multiple drives connected to it. We're going to use it with the UUID. The reason why, it's because if you don't do it, every single time when you unplug the same drive, it might assign you a different the SDA1, SDAB, SDB1 or 2 or something like that. Then whatever that you have locked on SDA1 will not work anymore, because SDA1 no longer exists. It will become SDB1 or something like that. So when we use UUID locks down and is a unique code. It will not change unless you reformat the drives. So using UUID will be more secure. So even though when you unplug it or when the power stops, when you turn it back on, it's actually going to show up the same thing, because UUID doesn't change. Doesn't matter what it assigns to it. It's going to tell the program that this is the drive that we're going to use it to. The second command is ls space hyphen l space dash dev dash disk dash by space UUID slash enter. As you can see, the SDA1 that I have right here, it has a blue letters next to it. That blue letters is actually the UUID. There's the SDA1 right there, and the top is the same SDA1, and just copy down that UUID that you have, that you see right here, and then make sure you copy it down. The next steps that we're going to use, we're going to modify the file to lock the UUID into whichever drive that you want to assign it to. Copy it, and then we're going to type this: sudo space nano space slash etc slash fstat. And then if you haven't watched the videos that we had before, sudo is actually give you the super user, the highest privilege user to run this command. And then nano, it's the one that it's kind of like a WordPad. It changed the files. It's like an editor. And then by running this into sudo, make sure that you have the highest privilege, that you have the rights to save this file. So otherwise, if you don't do it with the sudo, it will not let you save. So so we have the highest privilege or the authorized to actually write this program or software or files. Actually, you got here at the bottom line, you're not going to have the bottom line right here. Just type how I typed it with your own UUID on there, and then you will know, the software will know that this UUID will be that media USB HD 001 drive. If you do have more than one drive, you can do it USB HDD2, or you can actually name it to whatever you want. It's just that I think it's easier, and the tutorial that I watch actually use it this thing, and I think I like it because it's pretty much self-explanatory. Is a USB drive, it's a hard drive, and it's a one, and if you have 2 or 3, 4, it actually works that way. So I actually recommend you name it like that. But like what I said, you can just name whatever that you want right there. So like USB HDD1, that's what I used. And yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a little time to type that. Yeah. And make sure that the UUID is what you have, not what I have. So after you type that in, press Control X. As you can see that you might see that actually, do you want to save it? And yes, and then and just press Enter to escape it, because I already saved it. I didn't change anything, so that's why it didn't ask me for it. And so after you change it, so what you do is we need to make a directory. Remember you saw that media USB HD 001? We actually haven't made that directory yet. So this is what you type: sudo mkdir space slash media slash USB HDD1. As you can see, I already have it, but if you haven't done it, it's just going to show the next command. Actually, you should do this step before we change the files, but I'm just doing it opposite. It doesn't really matter. You might want to restart the Raspberry Pi, otherwise it will not show it. So as you can see, I only have one, but you can do more than one, like what I said. If you do have more than one hard drive, that you can do USB HDD2, USB HDD3, and then just make sure on the previous steps that you just put it again, like add the additional line for it, and then make sure you restart. If you don't restart, it's not going to apply the lock with the UUID. So if you restart it, then it's going to show, if you click on the drive, it's on the top, it's going to show that drive that you have is the slash media slash USB HD HDD1. So just press sudo space reboot and enter, and it's gonna reboot the device. Yeah, but since I already did it like what I said, so I don't have to do it again. So once you do it, it's going to reboot the drive, reboot the Raspberry, and then we're going to do the next step. The next step, we're gonna do install two softwares to finish the steps. Um, every single time that I actually recommend to do is make sure that you update the respiratory and apply the updates. So how to do it is sudo. Sorry, my keyboard's a little messed up. So let me do sudo space apt get and then install Samba and then Samba common hyphen bin and press enter. So once you did it, it's going to install the software. Since I already have it installed, so that's why I didn't ask me to press Y, but if you haven't, it's going to show you like that. Actually do the sudo apt dash get space update. Actually, you're supposed to do this before I do the install. But I already have it, so that's why I did it. But make sure you do this before you install that Samba. To do this update, it's because it's gonna ask the Raspberry regular default respiratory and see are there any updates, any new things. So now it's just checking are there any changes in the package, and then is it the newest thing, and then so that's why you have to wait a little bit. You might take longer than I do. Oh, it's done. So after this, we have to apply the change. So we do sudo space apt hyphen get space upgrade and then press enter. This will apply the change that it found. But since I already have the newest thing, so that's why you see it doesn't. It said it didn't update anything or it didn't install anything. Yeah, you see that zero reboot, update, and then replace. And if you haven't done anything, you should show something on there. If you press up on the keyboard, it's going to show you the previous command that you pressed. So I'm going to do the install again in case there's any update of it. And see, since it was pretty recent that I updated, so that's why it shows nothing changed. And then it will find what you have. If you have something installed and then you do the update and then you press this install again, it's gonna update the software if there's a new package on there. And then if you already done this installation, you should see whatever that I have on there. Like what I said, since I already have the newest update thing, that's why it shows 0 on there. After we install the Samba, we need to change another file. To change it, we need to make a copy of that file. So just type in what I do. So make sure the reason why we have to copy this file is in case we did anything wrong, we have the original copy of it. So this is what we copy, and then the excuse me. And then the file after it is what we copy this into. What we're gonna add a old afterwards, etc dash samba dash smb.config.old. Yeah. So you press enter. After press enter, it's gonna make a copy of it. I'm not gonna press enter because I already did. It's gonna replace the original one if I do it again. So after this, we're gonna change that file like what we did earlier. Sudo space nano space slash etc slash Samba slash smb.cof. Sudo is the highest privilege to change that. After you press enter, you scroll down a little bit. Don't use your mouse. I did stupid things. Use your keyboard to scroll down, and then you will see work group. I set my work group into home. You might not have it changed. If you haven't changed it, it should be work group. But just make sure you check what you name of your work group. Otherwise, you will not see the drive that you're sharing. So make sure you press whatever, like what I said, mine is home. So scroll down, all the way down, you will see this. You actually won't see this because you haven't added on there. Just follow what I have on there, and just the bracket back up, the close bracket, and then just the rest of the stuff you see right there. And then just change everything. The backup is actually what you want to name that folder. So you can change it to anything that you want. And then so when you try to open that drive on the other side, for example, your Windows, it will see whatever you name here. And that path right here you see is whichever that we did, the media, and then the HDD one. If you have more than one, the 2, 3, make sure you add and out of this whole thing. And just make sure you change that to do the next one, and then you just do it at the bottom, and then you can do more drives. Even though you have the same drive, you can share different folder this way to tell the Raspberry which drive you want to share in that particular drive. As you can see, I put shares, so on that drive, only the share folder is what I'm actually sharing on the Samba as a NAS. So after you do everything, press Control X. Like what I said, if you have change, you should see that I actually do want to save this. So press Y and then press Enter. You should be able to see this. So after we got this point, you should let me see. You actually restart the Raspberry again, or the Symbian, and just press whatever I have on there. And then it will actually restart the Samba, and then it's gonna apply the change that we did, as you can see. And then the next step, we're gonna add a Samba user. So next time when you just for your protections, if you're on the other drive or on the other computer and we try to get access to it, it's going to ask you for this username and password that you're going to save in the next step. So next step, we're going to do this. sudo space user add space backups. This backup right here is actually whatever that you want to name it to. I'm going to change it into ABC. So you know what I changed, but you can change it to anything. This will be the username that you want to use to log into this embed drive. So ABC, enter. Since I already have ABC on there that I did on the previous, on the other tutorials, that's why I said I already have it. But if you never did, it's gonna skip to the next command. So we're gonna change the password here. sudo space passwd space, and then space, whichever username, what we did is ABC, press enter. It's gonna ask me for a password. I'm gonna do 1 2 3 4 on this, and then we do 1 2 3 4 again, and this is what it see. It's gonna say successfully. And then after this password, we're gonna do next step. The next step is sudo space smb passwd space hyphen a space, and then this backup, we're going to change it to ABC because we used ABC earlier. And then just press enter. And it's going to ask you for another password. I'm actually not sure which password is which, but I'm going to use the same password. The reason why it's, if you have an extra password, you can actually lose it or forget about it. So I'm just going to use the same one, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 again. So this is what you get. And so we already set up the Samba username and password. And then, so when you're on the other computer that you want to open this drive, it's going to ask you for this username and password that you set. So you go to your Windows, and then you open your My Neighbor or your network. You see, I name my Pi to Pi0, and then you see the folders that you shared. And then see, I shared a backup right here, backup. You see right here? See, I did more than folders in there because I did it on the BitTorrent tutorial. Usually it would ask you for the username and password, but since I already made it, since I already did it before, it never did. I picked the option to save. I hope you guys like it. If you have any question, feel free to leave in the comments, and then make sure watch for the next